found the GroomPod. Welcome to our virtual salon. My name is Susie, and I'm your host. I'm a mobile groomer from Seattle, Washington, and anybody who knows me will tell you I love to talk, especially about my job. And one of my favorite people to talk to is my friend and mentor and the co-star of this show, the curator of ingredients, Miss Barbara Bird.
Hey, Susie, happy GroomPod Day. Boy, I got a lot of ingredients to curate for you today. Let's get into this.
All right, let's do it. Welcome to episode 439 of the GroomPod, recorded on March 2nd as we march towards spring, thank goodness. 2025 in Snohomish, Washington, and Greenville, South Carolina. This podcast is brought to you by our kind sponsors, Best Shot, Show Season, Precision Sharp, Grumore, and Stasco. And if you'd like to tip us, your podcasters, or support the show, you can do so at our website, thegroompod.com, and use the donation button to give Barbara a lift, or join us on Patreon to support the show. This week, we're doing an Ask Barbara show where we're going to answer some questions like, when do you use which brush? And what's the difference between human clippers and pet clippers? This week, What's New is brought to you by Grumore Software. If you haven't found Grumore, you're missing out. Grumore is an all-in-one software solution for your grooming business. Whether you are a solo mobile groomer or manage several shops, Grumore has everything you need. 24-hour online booking and forms, routing, credit card processing, reminders, Google Calendar and QuickBooks integration, and so much more. And the best customer service anywhere. Shop mobile or house call, Grumore has you covered. And they're giving us a free month. Just enter GroomPod22 in the coupon code. You're looking at a Pet Tech certified first aid and CPR groomer now. Took a class. I paid attention, I sat in the front row, and now I've got a certificate, and if I ever have any issues again, I've had a good review. I'm so happy that I've reviewed everything. So I do recommend getting out there and doing a first aid class and a CPR class, especially the CPR part. First aid, you can get pretty good first aid as you go through life and have some experiences. Hopefully you don't have a lot of experiences with CPR, so it's good to review. Yeah, I can't reach Barbara. She's banging on her heart. This worries me.
Yeah, do they teach self-administered CPR?
Boy, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Oh, I think I'm having a heart attack. And back you go.
But it's been really wonky lately. I have a cardiology appointment next week, and it's going to be dealing with the real deal of what's going on.
Oh, boy.
It's scarier to live with it and know it's not right than it is to deal with what you got to do to support it.
Hopefully they'll zap it back into place, that naughty heart of yours.
They'll probably try to do the little ablation thing where they burn the nerve that they think is causing the problem. And then if that doesn't work, they'll do a pacemaker.
Okay.
I'm okay with whatever they want to do. Whatever.
Get it fixed.
Help me finish my book.
Yes. Okay. You had an adventure a week ago or so. You went out with our friend Melody Coleman, didn't you?
Oh, Melody called me out of the blue on a work day and asked me if I wanted to go to a mobile grooming stop with an Airedale grooming. And I said, yeah, because Melody and I had talked about working together on this dog a couple of months ago when I was in Simpsonville, and we hadn't gotten around to it. And I thought, oh yeah, this is a great outing. And that's what it was. It was an outing with another groomer to go do grooming stuff and check out all her new tools and products that you'd never used. It was really great. And I worked on this Airedale head, and she handed me this pair of thinning blending scissors that are made from gem on the Facebook group that's about maintenance of equipment and everything.
GEM, Groomers, Equipment, and Maintenance.
Yeah, groomers equipment and maintenance. And then they have the brand name on some scissors that are available. And I had these scissors in my hand less than a minute and fell in love. They're called the Eraser, and they're just the fastest, coolest, smoothest blending cutting scissors I've ever had.
They look kind of weird.
They look kind of weird because they've got different kinds of notching on the comb side of the scissor, but it's very effective. It's really smooth, it's really accurate, and it's super sharp, as I would expect from them.
How aggressive is it?
Moderately aggressive. It's more than a chunker and less than a 48 tine blender. It's perfect for shaping heads and butts, and it's really good to do finish work with it. I loved it, so I got one, and I bought one from my friend Dave Fernandez in Tucson because he's a great groomer and he deserves great equipment. So I got him one. But what else happened there? It was a lot that happened. It was a very invigorating day for me because I have been like totally disconnected from grooming for months. And I've been out of my shop for over a year. It was a year, the beginning of this year. So it's been way too long to be talking about it and doing it and touching somebody else's stuff. It was like really cool. It was like learning what's happening right now with a real groomer and what she likes about this, what she likes about that. I love working with Melody because it just gives me plain groomer in the raw opinions about stuff. And, if she says she likes these scissors, I'm going to try them for sure because I trust her judgment. And she surely picked well with this thing. These gem eraser scissors are magical.
You also told me she had Schniff products.
Oh, that's right. I sniffed the Schniff.
Barbara's cracking up.
Well, here's what I thought. They were heavily fragranced, but I didn't love the fragrances. But I loved the appearance of the product. Not so much the outer packaging, but the appearance of the product itself, because it's whipped. The face cleanser is like whipped cream in a jar with color around the edges all blended in. It's beautiful. It looks like a flower. You just want to stick your mug in the jar.
I totally get that.
It was just really perfect. And even though I just didn't fall in love with the fragrances, I don't know if it just wasn't my cup of tea, my special things that I love the most.
Not your jam.
Not my jam or not my jelly either.
Or your Fruit Loops.
Not my Fruit Loops. But they weren't bad fragrances. They just didn't send me to heaven like some cookie kind of things do. Anyway, what I noticed while I went to the website of the Schniff is that they've got a coat spray that's basically a knockoff of Results Rinse in a spray without any dimethicone. Now, one of the secrets of Results Rinse is that it has dimethicone in it. That's what I added to the acidifier to make it be Results Rinse. So to take that out, all you got is like basically a vinegar herbalized. Of course, it's all handmade. Their products are all handmade. So I had actually had this idea of taking apple cider vinegar and infusing various herbs in it because I was doing that with my essential oils to make the happy hair that I made.
Yep.
And so I thought, well, why don't I do that with vinegar? And then you would have something that didn't smell just like vinegar that would clarify the hair like vinegar. And this stuff sells for like $29 for a 24-ounce spray and $69 for a gallon of concentrate, the concentrate being pretty much what you get with results rinse.
That's a little pricey.
It's very pricey, and it's just a tremendous profit margin for the company. And so then I looked at the ingredients and the formulation of the Schniff face stuff, which is extremely popular. By the way, the $69 gallon of vinegar was sold out.
Oh, so are all the fragrances. Apparently, they make them when you order them sometimes.
So probably I did that. I did that. And but they sure got the technique for presenting that. So that's just whipped. What the volume is in that jar is air.
Air.
You know, it's like diluting the herbal vinegar solution down to like 16-1 and selling it in a spray bottle. It's the same thing. You take this mild and highly fragrant facial shampoo, whip the shit out of it, and put some color on the top, and it's yummy, and it's a feel-good experience for the groomer, both with fragrance and touch. Boy, people, you know what? The human beauty industry knows how important the fragrance and the feel in our hands and fingers is to their products. They pay a lot of attention to the touchy-feely part of hair products, because if it feels like yummy in your hands, you're going to buy it more than if it's runny or too thick or whatever, you know. And a whipped cream is very luxurious in your fingers, and it's lighter than a diluted with water product, literally weight wise. Air foamed is lighter than water diluted. They've got a high margin that they're working with, and I support this groomer and her enterprise and her brand.
Yeah, kudos to her. Good job.
I think it is. I think it's good stuff. It's good to have products at your table and tub that make you feel good using them, whether they're liquids or tools.
I totally agree. It makes your day better.
Yeah.
You mentioned the magnifying glass.
I went nuts over the picture on our website of the Scissorman slicker brush magnified.
Yes.
And I asked the poster, whose name I forget at the moment, sorry, how did you get that picture? And she told me the magnifying camera that she got from Amazon. And I went there, and I hadn't shopped for a magnifying camera in maybe 3 or 4 years. And so I expected there to be advancement, and there was. So I bought one, and I'm going to be able, when I figure out how to read the teeny weeny, almost invisible instructions, I'm going to get pictures of several different tools that I have, because I think that it's part of what's going to make people more aware of the whole interrelationship between our tools and the pet coats that we're working with. And I'm all about that and minimizing damage as we go along.
As you know, I broke my lait pooch brush. I got the new lait pooch brush. It's very stiff. And then you started talking about the microscope. And so, of course, I ran to Amazon and bought one for myself as well. And I have spent the last week trying to set up a shot of the 10 different brushes I bought, trying to replace my, okay, maybe not 10. I think I've got 4 different ones. I got the flexible one from Artero, and it's already has a bent pin. That thing is fragile as can be. I don't think I can even find a place to store it where I'm not going to damage it. I like it, but I bet I destroy that brush in 3 months. And I had that lait proof brush for 20 years. There's just something about the fragility of this Artero brush, but it's nice and flexible, whereas all the other ones seem to be pretty stiff.
The more movement you have in, i.e., flexibility, it's going to wear and break more. A rigid tool is less likely to break than something that's got something that's bending back and forth and around or up and down.
The other thing I like about it is the sides are very obviously different. Instead of the lait pooch brush, which feels very similar on both sides, where it's supposed to be stiffer on one and less on the other, the Artero brush is actually 2 different sizes, and it was the finer side of one of the pins got broke. So I tried to set up a shot getting a picture of that, and then I tried to set up a shot getting a picture of my stupid little safari brush that I got. It's just a small head fixed slicker. And then I tried to get a shot of the lait pooch brush, both sides, and in all actuality, my camera phone did a better job. I don't know how, so I think I must not be setting it up right. So I didn't post any of those, and I'm going to redo them all as soon as I get a little bit more time. But
or maybe I should just start with my camera.
Yeah. And it's got LED light and it's all adjustable and all that, but it made it very difficult to not get a reflection and get a close enough view. I will work with it some more, and I will also post some of that stuff.
Yeah, lighting is so darn important. I bought that circular round light.
Yes.
To use to light me on videos. And I hate it because it's right in front of you with this bright light. It hurts my eyes. I want to wear sunglasses. It's dumb. It's so stupid. I'm so excited about it. And I'm so proud of new technology and all that I didn't get in touch with my not liking part.
Yes, I get it. It's so disappointing when that happens. It's very much anticipation.
I don't want to have that light shining in my face. Yeah, I'll just have to find another way.
I think you're lit fine. It's much better than in the old building in Tucson.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah. You just have a little shadow on one side of your face, but it's nothing like it was in the old place. This is 10 times better.
What else is new for me? Since you seem to remember better than I do.
I think we'll say that was it, and we'll take a little break, and then we'll go into, since I was just talking about the brush situation, we're going to start off with our Ask Barbara questions with a question about brushes. So hang on, we'll be right back. Let me tell you about Best Shot's newest addition to the Ultramax Pro line. Ultramax Hair Hold is a flexible hairspray that can be layered on for a stronger hold. Ultramax Hair Hold spray is great, but my favorite new product is called the Max, and I won't groom without it. It's a fragrance-free ultra-concentrate conditioner and detangler. It reduces drying time and handles undercoat and tangles like magic. Just a few drops in the final rinse or spray it on and dry it in. Contact your favorite Best Shot distributor or learn more online at bestshotpet.com. Grooming success begins with Best Shot in your tub. Made from the best stuff on earth. Ready, groomers? Here comes our first appointment. I reached out to our vast listening audience and asked for some questions, so we're going to work on those today. But I also want to take the opportunity to mention the best way to ask us a question is with our Facebook discussion group, facebook.com/group/the GroomPod. And if you want to ask a question about a product, the best way to do that is to post the ingredients with the question, because that's what Barbara likes to do the most, is dig into those ingredients and figure out why they work or why they don't work and what the marketing is. But of course, you guys know that. Her sideline is actually Science Slut, so we also have to honor that, as well as curator of ingredients. So there was a question about the open-close openers. We like to call it co-washing. Conditioner first, and then washing with a surfactant. We're going to save that for another day. That's going to be a different show. So we did see the question. It's just a little more detailed than we want to tackle here for this. So anyway, let's move on to the question about brushes. Christine Murray asks, what kind of brush is best for what kind of coat type? Which type causes damage? Boy, this could be several shows worth of information at this point.
I said, Christine, thanks for this question, I think. It's worthy of a master's thesis. I know I spent 2 years on my master's thesis, most of which was the second year, but at least a year in writing that and editing it and annotating it and all of that. But this is worthy of that kind of an effort, because we could go and go and go. But to make it even more complicated, brushes don't work all by themselves to cause damage to coats. As I recently said, the factors that have something to do with coat damage are very interactional with the hair or the fur. Brushes don't work all by themselves to cause damage to coats. We need to think about our liquid tools as used with our mechanical tools. We also need to think about our drying process and techniques of drying and brushing out. There are some generalizations that I can make about coat types. The types of coat that are most prone to damage from grooming are those with hair or fur that's in a prolonged resting phase. In other words, it doesn't shed out as fast as like a smooth coated dachshund does, which is shedding all the time and it just kind of sheds out. But when you have these dogs like German Shepherd dogs and double coated dogs, Samoyeds, etc., where the top part of the coat is resting for years, and then the undercoat comes and goes, keeping that overcoat healthy requires more mindfulness than just what you need to do on the little dachshund, right? Longer, thicker, and fine hair or fur is most easily damaged. So it just makes sense. The longer hair, especially coats that grow and grow and grow, like hair does, like poodle coats and doodle coats and bearded collies.
Drop coats?
Yeah, so the top coat lasts a lot longer than the undercoat. It's more assaulted by the grooming tools and the chemicals and the everything in the environment, and it just has a tendency to get damaged, especially in the ends of the coat. So the fresher coat that's up on the back of the dog, that's not so tender. It hasn't accumulated any damage. But the part that's been there for a long time and it's down by the floor, that's the part that's most likely to end up getting damage of wear and tear. So then the other thing that happens with when there's undercoat is the grooming that we do to pull out or blow out, well, the undercoat can in itself rough up the surface of the hair cuticle of the top coat. Yeah, yeah. So the final thing, all curly hair is at much greater risk of damage than straight hair. And it's just the physical reality that if the hair is wavy or curved and the straight brush or comb is going through it, it's going to be forcing that hair into an unnatural for it state. Doing that over and over again can actually cause surface damage to the hair. Hair is more easily damaged on the surface than we think. Even hairs rubbing against hairs that can wear and damage the hair cuticle to the point that moisture can be lost and the coat can dry out. By the way, I'm just going to throw in here a reminder that multiple studies have shown that brushing is more damaging to hair than combing. We groomers don't usually think of that. We think that brushing is doing the outside and then combing, we're going through the whole coat. And so we would think that combing was the rougher deal, but it's not, although combing is usually what we use for some detangling. But the reason that brushes damage more easily than combs is the smaller size of the bristles and their close proximity to each other. So there again, you're forcing the hair through a more compact surface than when you have a wider tooth comb or a wide tooth brush. So the combs, especially wide tooth combs, have more space between the teeth, which allows for gentler detangling with less friction and pulling of the hair. So what we have seen in the beauty industry is that brushes for human hair have evolved more than pet grooming tools have evolved. Brushes for human hair have actually evolved in ways to make them less damaging to the hairs, as well as less doing a job on the skin. Tools in the grooming industry have more or less just changed to make the handle more ergonomic, or slicker brushes have gone from flat paddles to curved slicker, and the curved slicker is still a slicker. It's still got these tiny little pins that are going to scratch and poke and scrape the surface of the hair cuticle.
But nothing aligns like a slicker brush.
No, and it's true. And slicker brushes have a place in the finishing. Some groomers use only a slicker brush, and it's their main tool, and they just start attacking a coat, whether it's thick or long, with a slicker brush.
Keeping everything that you said in mind, the way to choose a brush for a particular dog, in my mind, is that I always take the least damaging and work my way out. So I'm going to start with a comb. If that doesn't work for me, then I go to a round pin brush or something like that. So, because part of the question was, how do you pick? So that's how I pick.
And so you kind of get to know your dogs and what tools work for them. It's hard to generalize in coat types because within breeds of dogs, there's so much variation, one dog to another. I've had Bichon Frises that never matted, and every time they would just be in great shape, and the owner would say, well, I don't do anything. Poodles are like that too. And then I have one that is just wiry and weird, and it mats instantly. Is there a Westie in the hen house? I don't know, but it's a registered Bichon Frise. And so stuff happens. There's a lot of individual variation among breeds and among coat types. So it's hard to make those generalizations, but if you look at what kind of hair it is, if it's all that undercoat, you can hold hair up to the light, and if it shines and reflects the light, that means the cuticles are pretty flat. If it's white hair that isn't shiny, it's probably got very porous coat that's going to easily snag onto a pointy brush. So what we've seen in the human hair industry is more like these brushes that look more like combs. So we have the vented brushes, we have like the vanilla, and they're just more hybrid type tools that are coming into the beauty industry. And more you will see hairstylists using these new tools. Do you ever see hairstylists using slicker brushes?
Nope.
No. Hell no.
Nope.
So vented pin brushes or vented brushes, and some of them have kind of flexible pads that move, so it sort of absorbs the shock. It has to do with less tension and stress on the hair when you're pulling the tool through it, which is called combing force. The less combing force, the less likely you are to damage it.
All right. Well, that wraps it up on the brush topic for the moment, because Barbara and I both have our microscopes ready to go and our cameras on our phones. And we're going to be taking some pictures of our brushes and posting them. Hopefully, if I can do a better job than the ones I had. Boy, I must have taken 50 pictures. I swear. I just kept deleting. Nope, that's nope, can't see it there. And then I thought, wow, what is that all over the pins? And then I realized it was just the reflection. So yes, I will get better and make it work. Anyway, next question. Tracy Murray asks, now I thought that was funny. We have Christine Murray and Tracy Murray. I'm wondering if it's the same person with two different accounts.
I wondered that too.
But I'm happy because I can pronounce her name, so she can call herself whatever she wants as long as I can pronounce it. She asks, how different are animal and human clippers? Do blades dull more on animal clippers? And why don't human stylists sharpen their blades? And I read that and I went, what? Human stylists don't sharpen their blades?
Of course they do.
I immediately called my hairdresser. Well, actually,
I bet.
yeah, I called AI first and I asked the question there. And then I called my hairdresser. My tenant and amusement park friend is my hairdresser, and she's been doing hair since 1986 that I know of. So pretty long time. And I figured she was a good source to go to. But I did go to AI first, and I asked AI, what are the differences between human and animal clippers? And I got a pretty decent answer, but I had to, of course, tweak it a little bit to what I know. So here's what I think. There's a difference in the blades for sure. The blades are they're just built a little beefier to go through the kinds of hair we have. Humans don't have undercoat. Well, theoretically, they don't have undercoat. If you're a werewolf or something like that, you might have a little undercoat, but they don't have undercoat, and they don't have quite as varied hair texture. They do have varied hair texture, but it's not quite as diverse as in the animal world. So as a result, I think that the blades are a little bit more beefy, and we sharpen our blades and they toss their blades, because the beauty industry sharpeners charge the same amount to sharpen a blade as they do to get a new beauty industry blade. So she said, yes, in fact, for the most part, the beauty industry does not sharpen their blades, but there are exceptions, because there are beauty industry people who use A5 snap-on blades like we do. But a lot of them are like you, Barbara. They use trimmers. They use 5-in-1 blades and, toss them out and get another 5-in-1 blade. And the 5-in-1 blades that they have for their clippers are cheaper. But they are not as beefy, because I had a peanut. You remember the peanuts, the little wall peanuts?
Yeah, I've used peanuts.
I had a peanut that was made for the beauty industry, and it didn't go through hair worth beans, not dog hair anyway. But then I thought I was getting such a deal because it was a little cheaper, but it was not the
I
same.
used the peanut for years.
Right.
To do paw pads on inside ears and all of that.
The pet peanut is beefier than the human peanut. I bought mine at Sally and it just wasn't as good. It just didn't seem as good. It could be my imagination. I will not discount that.
That one's your imagination.
It
So I
might
think
be.
if there's a significant difference to that, they'd have to label it in a certain way.
I don't know. I can't remember. It's been so long since I'm recalling this. But also on the blades, we deal with a little bit wider teeth separation in our finished blades than they do in the human blades. They're a little bit tighter. Barbers and stylists that do mostly men use 5-in-1 trimmers and clip-on combs just like you do. They're just like exactly like you without this. I mean, I'm sure they can sculpt, not like you sculpt because you are magical that way, but they do it all with like a 5-in-1 and a trimmer. And they think it's really funny. She thinks it's really funny that we get our blades sharpened. She's like, how much does it cost? I said, well, it varies a little bit, but under $10. Wow. You're kidding. They charge us $25 to sharpen a blade set. I said, what about your clippers? Are your clippers disposable? And she goes, oh, yeah, we don't repair our clippers. They don't repair their clippers. So they toss them.
That's her. I know pet grooming sharpeners who also sharpen for barber and hairdressers.
Randy did. And I tried to get him to come on and talk about this. So, what I'll say about the topic is that we will revisit it in the future. I'm going to have Randy give us the actual truth.
Good. I think that there's a difference, but not as much as we might think. Certainly, they don't have the heavy duty kind of clippers. I think we have a wider range of clippers.
We have more powerful motors.
I use a mini trimmer, a 5-in-1 trimmer, and a full A5 trimmer. 3 clippers on or at my table when I'm grooming.
She's pretty grateful she doesn't have to trim between people's toes and stuff like that. I mean, we definitely have a little bit more challenging deal. Although she said try to do a 2-year-old's haircut. She said that can be challenging. And then durability, like the cords, they said the cords were built a little more durable in the pet things. But this is AI. So I want to talk to Randy. I want to get the real truth about this subject.
I want to hear the real truth too.
Good. Okay, so we'll revisit that.
To be continued, to be revisited.
Barbara, Kathleen Townsend asks, what does Bbird think about Groomer's Choice brand Bark to Basics Crystal Clear Shampoo? And I think this is going to be fun. Get ready, sit down, hold on to your chairs. Okay, go.
Okay, if you got little kids, you might want to send them to the park or something. Because fuck this shit. These are their ingredients. It makes me so mad. This is what they advertise as their ingredients. Anionic surfactant, amphoteric surfactant, benzoin tree gum preservative, chelating agent, reverse osmosis water. And I say, fuck this shit. Oh, Patty. Yeah, give me a sound effect, girl. If we keep giving these companies a pass when they refuse to allow us to know the ingredients for year after year after year, things are never going to change. I'm really so damn tired of being polite and professional and diplomatic about this issue around disclosing ingredients. I danced around with this company asking for ingredient disclosure, and they have scoffed at the notion that groomer gals, I hate it when men call us you gals. I hate that.
Yes.
And so they say the groomer gals, and we might add, and gay boys, they would not be able to understand a true ingredient list. That is just flagrant misogyny. It's just like, give me a dang break. So the first thing that they say in the description of Crystal Clear is that it's formulated with a unique herbal blend. What? there's no mention of anything herbal in their list of ingredients. Do you remember them?
Yep.
An anionic surfactant, an amphoteric surfactant. Amphoteric surfactant is almost always cocamidopropylbutane. The anionic surfactant can be, it's usually a sulfate. Benzoin tree gum preservative. I have questions about its efficacy, but that's just me. Chelating agent is probably EDTA. And reverse osmosis water, so what? It's reverse osmosis, processed water.
I was going to say, what the hell is that? Why does it matter? Water's water.
Yeah, water's water, but the reverse osmosis they seem to think that it's somehow more pure.
It's more water? It's more hydrogen and oxygen?
But how did they get away with marketing the product? It's formulated with a unique herbal blend, and they don't even say herbal blend in the ingredient list.
Yeah, that's awful.
That's just fucked. I'm sorry about my language. I am just like so fed up with these companies that have been doing this to groomers for years and just like digging in and refusing to become transparent about ingredients. And then they had the nerve to market that product, Crystal Clear, as hypoallergenic because they've eliminated fragrance and color. And then they throw in an unknown herbal blend at us. Stop the stupidity. Calm drop. I'm glad. I bet she's real glad she asked. Sorry, Kathleen. Don't take it personally. It's not you.
That's funny. Okay, let me I forgot we needed to take a break somewhere. So let me just play these ads and I'm going to
Show Season has a great enzymatic cleaner called Kennel Fresh. And you dilute it with warm water and it smells good. And then it evaporates to be a deodorant. As the Kennel Fresh dries, it's enzymatic. It eats the bacteria and the odor source. So it's really good stuff. You can use it indoors or out. Find it at your local distributors or showseasongrooming.com.
The GroomPod and Precision Sharp would like to invite you to check out the newest precise cut shear called Lynx. Its patented design features a thumb ring that slides the length of the handle for perfect ergonomic placement of your thumb. Slide it, lock it into place, and get your best grooms on. Check it out at precisionsharp.com.
Groomers, take your seats. It's time for Bbird's Classroom.
And finally, the final question for this show. Katie Miller asks, what Barbara thinks about Hydra finishing spray.
Okay, well, I took a look, and their ingredients are listed as water, amodimethicone, fragrance, lactic acid, panthenol, phenoxyethanol, ethylhexylglycerin, say that fast 3 times, ethylhexylglycerin, and disodium ETA. So, Katie, hi. This is a very basic silicone detangler with the main ingredient being the amodimethicone. It's doing the real work. It's a warrior ingredient, we could call it. And then they've added some moisturizing stuff, panthenol and lactic acid. And the phenoxyethanol and ethylhexylglycerin are preservatives that are boosted by the disodium ETA, which is also a chelating agent that prevents the minerals in the water from hooking up with the ingredient molecules and diverting them from their jobs. Oh, you little teases. The product is a very simple formula, probably best used as a detangler or a scissoring spray, and it should not overly soften a coat. to feel more comfortable having a shorter ingredient list. This is a product for you. If you can trust your silicone to do the job alone, this would be a good product. It's not going to be my big favorite, but I have a new favorite that I'm going to talk about next week, and that's the Canine Competition Aloe Nano Mist.
Ooh, that sounds intriguing.
Yeah, it has a lot of followers. It has a lot of kind of followers whose choices I trust.
Okay.
So we're going to take a look at what makes that so lovely.
Cool. That sounds like fun. So, you guys, thank you for sending your questions in. We love your audience participation. It means a lot to us.
No, I'm going to be continuing to work on the whole brushes, combs, coat types thing for probably the rest of my life. So, like you'll hear from me here and there and everywhere, and we will just like build our body of knowledge together, because to just like totally get that answer, it would require a lot of study.
Yes, and I'm really digging my new microscope. So as soon as I figure out how to get the light adjusted so it doesn't reflect off the pins, so we can actually see what the ends of the pins look like, we'll be getting pictures up and probably talking about it again on another show. So thank you for being here, you guys. We appreciate your support so much. Remember to go to our website, thegroompod.com, support the sponsors we have, give us a donation, join us on Patreon. You get nothing but love and kudos back, but you know what? We think it's worth it. We like putting the show out. We think there's good information here. And yeah, I think that's all we've got today. Happy grooming, everybody. See you next time on the GroomPod. Bye-bye now.
And take care of yourselves, because we love you.